Okay, let's talk about something that is a classic headache in the tech world. Getting two totally different software systems to actually talk to each other. It can be a massive challenge, but you know what? When you get it right, it is an absolute game changer. So today, we're going to break down the blueprint for how to do it successfully.
So that's the big question, right? How do you build that bridge between two separate islands of technology? It's a puzzle that really stumps a lot of very smart teams. But here's the secret. The solution isn't just about writing a bunch of code, it's about having the right strategy from the get-go.
The answer, more often than not, is building what's called a custom connector. You can think of it like a special universal translator that only works for this one specific conversation. But, and this is the most important part, you can't just dive in and start building. To do this right, you absolutely need a deliberate strategy.
And that strategy? Well, it really boils down to two things. Just two. You need the right expert on your team, and you need to give them the right plan to follow. If you can get those two elements lined up correctly, trust me, you are already halfway to the finish line.
So let's start with that first piece, the expert. Our source material for this actually gives this person a very specific title, the implementer. So who exactly is this person, and what makes them the perfect choice for this job?
Well, first off, this is not a job for a jack of all trades. Your implementer needs a very specific toolkit. They've got to be fluent in Java, they need to be comfortable working with existing software frameworks, and of course, they need to be a pro in their development environment. But the real critical skill here is knowing how to use REST APIs. Think of an API like a restaurant menu. It tells you exactly what you can order from the kitchen and how to ask for it. So if you don't know how to read that menu, you're never going to get your food.
And just having the raw technical skill isn't always enough. The source material actually highly recommends that the implementer get specific training for the job. And why is that? Because that's what turns a skilled developer into a true specialist, someone who really gets the unique rules and the environment of the systems they're trying to connect. It's all about precision.
So at the end of the day, the implementer is your specialist. They are the person with the exact skill set needed to take this project all the way from just an idea to the final installation. I mean, you wouldn't ask a plumber to do your house's electrical work, right? It's the same idea here. You need a specialist for a specialized job.
All right, so we found our expert implementer. We have our player. Now, what about the game plan? What is the absolute #1 first move they need to make before a single line of code ever gets written?
This quote right here says it all. And it's not a suggestion, it's a command. Before you do anything else, you must do a feasibility analysis. All that means is figuring out if the project is even possible before you sink a ton of time and money into it. Seriously, skipping this step is the fastest way to guarantee your project will fail.
Now, the playbook for this analysis is pretty simple, but it's incredibly powerful. First, you dig into the APIs. You go back to that restaurant menu and see what tools you actually have to work with. Second, based on that menu, you figure out what's realistically possible. And third, you go talk to the experts, the folks who know this system inside and out. It's really a mission of pure discovery.
Okay, so we have our expert player, the implementer. And we have our game plan, which always starts with that feasibility study. Now, let's tie it all together. Let's look at the real-world impact of following this blueprint.
The difference is, well, it's pretty stark. On one side, you've got the prepared path. The right expert plus that upfront analysis gives you a clear road ahead and minimizes your risks. But on the other side, just jumping straight into coding, well, that leads to wasted effort, project failure, and something nasty called technical debt, which is just a fancy way of saying you're creating a huge mess that someone else will have to clean up later. The choice seems pretty clear, doesn't it?
But here's the thing. This whole blueprint, it isn't just for software developers. Not at all. It is a universal principle for success. It doesn't matter if you're launching a marketing campaign, designing a new building, or planning a huge event. The formula is exactly the same. Find the right expert and create the right plan before you start doing anything else.
So, we'll leave you with this question to chew on. We've just walked through the blueprint for software, but where in your world, in your job, in your projects, could applying this simple rule of the right expert and the right plan make all the difference? Thanks for joining us.